How's it going, everyone? Welcome into the channel. Apologies for the little bit of a late start here. Was having technical difficulties with my camera. I got a new GPU, my PC, and for some reason that messed with my camera display on OBS. No idea why, but had to had to figure that out real quick. So appreciate you guys sticking around a little bit later. Usually start these things at 12:30, but welcome in to everyone joining. Let me get my screen set up real quick to make this easier on myself. But welcome in, everyone. Week 14 is upon us, which is just still crazy to say. This season has flown by. Now, there's still a lot of football left to be played. Hell, we haven't even played the Bears yet. Obviously, playing them for the first time this week in Week 14. Packers versus Bears. The Bears at the top of the NFC, at the top of the NFC North at 9-3, but the Packers are very, very close behind 8-3-1. So, you know, the next three games, two of which against the Chicago Bears, obviously going to play a big toll in who wins the NFC North. Not only that, who could maybe end up being the top of the NFC, the number one seed. If the Bears win both games against the Packers, which I don't see happening, they could very well, that could, propel them into number one in the NFC. If the Packers win both games, I feel confident that they could potentially become number one in the NFC. Obviously, they have a game down over the Eagles, where the Bears have a game up, so they have that working against them. But yeah, this is a crazy week, man. The Bears fans, they are on top of the world right now. And for the right reasons. Their team's playing some good football. I'm still not completely sold on them. Obviously, the Eagles game, they played their asses off. Really dominated that game there on Black Friday, and just, something the Packers couldn't do against the Eagles. So I can't fault them too much. Obviously, I think this is a good football team. I think it's going to be a good matchup, Packers versus Bears. So we do game previews every single Friday at 12:30 Eastern. So if this sort of thing does interest you and you've yet to subscribe, definitely consider by the end of this live stream, if you did enjoy it, to go down and click the subscribe button. It helps support the channel a ton. If you could also leave a like on the stream as you enter in, it helps support the channel, helps with the whole YouTube algorithm. Before we start diving in, did just get a super chat from M Sports Review 3128. Appreciate the donation. Go Pack Go. Got to stop the run, finish pressures, and play balanced offensive games. I say we split. Whoever wins Sunday wins the North. Yeah, I mean, the realistic approach here, and the, what I think will happen is the Packers split the Bears, right? 1-1. I think they win tomorrow, or win Sunday, should I say, and maybe drop one in Chicago in a couple weeks. Now, I think the Packers will end up with a better record than the Bears. I think they both have very tough schedules. Obviously, with the Packers, the Bears have the Packers, then the Browns, which the Browns, yes, sure, they should be an easy win for them, but they weren't for the Packers. They have a good defense. Then the Packers again, then the 49ers, then the Lions. So their schedule very tough, and ours isn't that much easier, right? Bears, Broncos, Bears, Ravens, Vikings. So you kind of have that, I would just call it a freebie at the end there with the Vikings, whereas the Bears have the Lions, and that could be the difference between winning the North there. The Packers beating the Lions, or the Packers beating the Vikings, and maybe the Bears dropping one of the Lions there in Week 18. That very well could be how it ends up turning out. But before we dive in, if you guys are looking for potential Packers tickets, you want to go to a game, I have the perfect spot for you guys to check that out. Here's a quick word from today's sponsor. Guys, the NFL season is in full swing, and if you're looking for affordable Green Bay Packers tickets, look no further than today's video sponsor, SeatGeek. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports, festivals, and more. Watching a Packers game is always fun, but nothing beats actually going to one, especially when you can find a really good deal on tickets. What I love about SeatGeek the most is it puts its tickets on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being amazing, 1 being bad value. So when you're looking for your tickets, look for the green dots. Obviously, the higher the number, the better the value. Plus, every ticket on SeatGeek is backed by their buyer guarantee. And of course, I have a code for you guys to use. Use code Baserski10 to get 10% off your first order of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets on SeatGeek with code Baserski10. You can simply click the link down in the description below and have the code automatically added to your account. So the next time you look for tickets, you will get that 10% off. So go check out SeatGeek, look into some future Packers games, but also some concerts and events as well. Again, a big shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this video. So again, if you're looking for Packers tickets to get out to a game as the season comes to a close, go check out SeatGeek. Link down in the description below. All right, so let's get into this thing. Let's start with the game preview. Let me get my screen up for you guys. Let's flip it. And of course this, okay, I switched my graphics card, so you guys are going to have to give me a second here. Of course. Let me switch back to this. Actually, I have to do here. See, this is why I should have done all this beforehand. But you know what? I could do this. That should work. Yeah, I upgraded my graphics card, so I forgot that my displays are going to be changed now in OBS. Yay! Let's do this. You know, this is what you have to deal with when you work through it live, right? But really appreciate you guys coming by and at least being patient with me. Sort of Snow, what's up, man? Mitch Goodwin, been waiting for this all morning. Bears talking a lot of trash this week. They are, man, as always. I give them, you know, at least they're consistent, right? They're consistent. KI Soviet, what's up, man? Lions missing playoffs without Branch. I just saw that news this morning. That's terrible for them. You know, torn Achilles, especially being late in the year. It's terrible. Hope you don't need a RAM upgrade. I'm okay. I have 32 gigs of DDR4. That's what I'm going to have for a while now, because if you guys didn't know, the RAM prices are due to AI. So I'm, you know, at least I'm not at like 8 or 16. Then I would be like, oof. No, I have 32 of 3200 megs. So DDR4, I'm fine. I'm fine for now. All right, let's get into this thing. Quick jibber jabber about all the PC talk. Here we go. All right, Packers versus Bears here in Week 14. Again, the Packers are 8-3-1. The Chicago Bears are 9-3. If we look at the spread, the Packers are favored by 6.5 points. They're also home, so on a neutral site, that would be 3.5 points. You get 3 points for being at home in terms of the betting odds. So even if this is neutral, Vegas still likes the Green Bay Packers. Now, the percentage of the money in terms of the spread is on the Chicago Bears, and this makes sense. I think 6.5 points is a lot of points to give to the number one NFC team. I can't lie. I know it's in Green Bay. I know the Packers have been playing hot, but so have the Bears, and they're a good football team. They're probably the hottest football team in the NFL outside of the New England Patriots. So to give that team 6.5 points, you know, I could understand why 78% of the money is on the Bears. Now, when we take a look at the money line, it's also the Bears, and I think it's because it's the value here. You got to think at the value, right? It's at plus 253. So if you put down $100, you'll win 253, right? So that also makes sense why people are putting money on the Bears. Now, money line, I'd still take the Packers. Obviously, I'm a Packers fan. I'm going to be biased in that regard, but just because they're home, you know, I just feel like both teams are well matched. I think the Packers are matched better for the Bears than other teams have been. You know, last week we saw the Eagles. They're just a disgusting offense, and the Bears, you know, had easy success against them, especially running the football. And the Bears are going to run the ball a lot. They definitely are. Looking at PFF grades in terms of teams, so again, this is based off PFF grades, nothing else, so take it with a grain of salt. The Packers are the second highest graded PFF team. That means collectively, all their PFF grades through offense, defense, special teams, they have the second highest average. It's great to see. The Bears are 14th. Defense, the Packers are 9th. The Bears are 15th. Offense, the Packers are 3rd. The Bears are 9th. PFF really, really likes the Green Bay Packers this year, and that's a change of pace, because I feel like a lot of years we're sitting here going, it's got to be a Bears fan working at PFF grading these Packers players. That's what it feels like a lot of the time. But it's been better. It's been better. They're starting to actually grade players, I think, accurately. There's still obviously issues. There always is going to be. It's you know, it's an opinionated grading system, essentially, so there's always going to be a little discrepancy there. As for the percentage of run and pass, the Bears and Packers are pretty similar, and a lot of people look at the Bears and they go, wow, they're a run-first team. They're going to run the ball more than anyone in the NFL, and the Packers run the ball more than them. The Bears run the ball 41.6% of the time. I want them to pass the ball. right? I want the ball to be in Caleb Williams' hands. Is he a bad quarterback? No. Is he going to wow you? Is he going to go out there and be the guy that's going to completely win the game on offense? I don't think so. Not yet. Can he get to that point? I think he can. I think he has a lot of talent. But at the end of the day, you look at the last game against the Eagles, and what did he throw? Like 40, 50% completion, a 70 or 68 quarterback rating. Like, it was nothing that really, he had a great throw at the end of Cole Kmet. I give him that. But nothing was like, oh, wow, what a game by Caleb. Like, he just dominated the Eagles. Like, no, their run game dominated the Eagles. They had 2 running backs over 120 yards for the first time since Walter Payton, and I forget the other guy's name, Suey or something, from 1985. So they're going to run the football. They're going to want to run the football, and they do so 41.6% of the time. Now, the Packers run the ball 43.2% of the time, and then you can see the respective passing numbers as well. The Bears have great EPA across the board, positive. Not great, I would say just positive. EPA per run, they're .01, so positive. EPA per pass, .04. So they're just like hovering right above that positive mark there. Where you see the Packers, where they really blow them out, is EPA per pass, and that's because Jordan Love. I can actually find the Twitter stat here. Where is it? Okay, here we go. Here's let me make sure you guys can see this on my screen. You can see Jerry Jones peeking on the right corner here. He's, just giving us a nod for, sending Micah Parsons. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you very, very much. You can see Jordan Love year to date, EPA per play is in the top of the NFL. Everyone that's still, outside of Packers fans, there's still that narrative that Jordan Love hasn't taken the step and he's not a top 5 quarterback. Every single advanced metric that you could look at proves that otherwise. People just aren't ready to hear it yet. NFC North fans that aren't Packers fans clearly don't want to hear it. I still see Bears, even Lions fans, which is crazy, saying Jordan Love is trash. He's the best quarterback in the NFC North, and guys, it's not close. Like, it's not close at all. PFF grade, he's 3rd. EPA per play, he's 1st. Success rate, 7th. CPOE, he's 3rd. Turnover worthy play rate, he's 9th lowest. Clean pocket EPA per play. This is where he's just outstanding. When he has a clean pocket, he's going to torch your defense. 0.56 EPA. Clean pocket success rate, 60.7%. Non-play action EPA per play, he's 2nd. Non-play action success rate, he's 7th. Pressure to sack rate, 4th. Average depth of target, which whatever, is 11th. The next highest NFC North quarterback is Jared Goff, which, he has some good grades and good stats as well. He's definitely 2nd in the NFC North, but, you have to go a far bit down to see Caleb Williams, who EPA per play is 20th, success rate 22nd, CPOE he's 30th. Turnover-worthy play percentage, he is good in this regard. He doesn't have many turnover-worthy throws, which is a surprise to me. 11th. Clean pocket EPA per play, 22nd. Clean pocket success rate, 25th. Non-play action EPA per play, 19th. Non-play action success rate, 19th. So the Bears want to win by running the football is the point I'm trying to make here. That's the point I'm trying to make here. And if we look at other quarterback comparison here, Jordan Love, crazy PFF grade this year, 87.3. Jordan Love is a top 5 quarterback. He is. To me, he definitely is. I really think he is. Caleb Williams, 72.7. Passer rating when clean. Jordan Love is 130.3. Now, what he does struggle with is against pressure, as do most quarterbacks, but that has been the biggest thing in his game this year. It's like when he's pressured heavy, kind of breaks it down a little bit, or kind of breaks down a little bit. Caleb Williams, 101.7 when clean. Great passer rating when clean as well, but when under pressure, 54.3. He kind of breaks down as well. We know what the Packers are good at doing, pressuring the quarterback. Big time throw percentage, 3.57 for Caleb. Love at a staggering 5.13%. Turnover-worthy play percentage, about the same. Love slightly higher, 2.56. Caleb at 2.52. Again, we saw the schedule. The Bears' last loss was against Snoop Huntley in Week 8, which is crazy. I can't laugh. I mean, we lost to, Bryce Young, which, honestly, the Panthers are pretty good. Joe Flacco tied to the Cowboys. I get it. But that's crazy. Outside, they haven't played a quarterback like Jordan Love since Week 3. They really haven't, right? Jalen Hurts last week, I mean, he has not been good this year. He's the best of their last 8 quarterbacks played, but still, he's not Jordan Love, in my opinion, this year at least. They played Mason Rudolph, who they almost lost to. They played a guy named Nine, who is the worst quarterback in the NFL, and it's not close. They played Jackson Dart, and I think Russell checked into that game a little bit. And Jackson's okay, but he's just, first-year rookie, whatever. They played Joe Flacco and the Bengals, Snoop Huntley, Rattler, Jaden, and the Commanders have not been nearly what they were last year. Geno Smith, who's terrible. And then like weeks 2 and 3 are the last quarterbacks that I would say, okay, you played a similar quarterback at the level of Jordan Love. You played Dak Prescott and Jared Goff. They got 52 dropped on them from Jared Goff in their house. And Dallas, yes, they had a wonderful game against, but Dallas was not at the top of their game at that point. And honestly, they weren't last night either, but I digress. The point I'm trying to make here is they've not played a Jordan Love in a long time, that caliber of a quarterback. And this defense is really, really dependent on turnovers. When you look at the Bears defense, they're 19th in EPA per play. They're 23rd in success rate, 18th in dropback EPA, 21st in rush EPA. All bottom half numbers, right? The reason why people, look at the Bears defense and they go, this is a good defense, is because they're creating so many turnovers. And that's credit to them. You can't take that away. We saw that last year with the Packers. Very dependent on turnovers. Came to bite them in the ass. When you're very dependent on turnovers, it's not sustainable, right? You're not going to guarantee yourself 2 turnovers per game. It's very difficult to do. And when you and obviously you can't take away what they've created turnover-wise. But if you were to, excluding turnovers, they're 30th in EPA per play, 30th in success rate, 30th in dropback EPA, and 28th in rush EPA. I'm not saying they're terrible defense because they create so many turnovers, and that's, really good for their defense. But what I'm saying is the Packers and Jordan Love don't turn over the ball a lot. Jordan Love has 3 interceptions on the year. He's been a very good protector of the football. Has a couple, all 3 interceptions are pretty ugly outside of the Browns one. That was just a good play by, I think it was Delpit. The other 2 are nasty. They're nasty interceptions, but that was a long time ago in this season. Jordan Love has been protecting the football at an exceptional level as of late. And the Bears, they're 6-0 when they create 2+ turnovers. All 3 of their losses, Minnesota, Detroit, and Ravens, the quarterback threw 1 interception or less. And in the Ravens and the Lions case, they threw 0. So you can kind of see a trend there. Hey, don't throw interceptions. Don't give them the freebies. And you'll probably come away with a victory. If you just give them the interception, obviously you're not giving, they're making plays. But you got to protect the football. That's the name of the game at the NFL level. It really, really is. Just want to kind of look at a couple more stats. Key offensive line stats. They have a good offensive line. Let's see here. Stuffed run percentage, they're 10th. 10th, lowest. Run block win rate, they're 2nd. They have a great running offensive line. Pressure rate allowed, they're 7th. And pass block win rate, they're 2nd. They have a good offensive line. They really upgraded the trenches. Poles did a great job, adding to the trenches year after year after year. Then get a guy in here like Ben Johnson who just lives through the trenches and be able to establish the run and, having 2-headed monsters in the backfield. It's worked really well for them. They did a good job rebuilding that O-line. The Packers are going to have their work cut out for them against this O-line, not only stopping the run, but getting after the quarterback. You can see the Packers offensive line. Let's see. Stuffed run percentage, they're actually 5th lowest. They do a good job recently. Not allowing stuffed runs. They've been a lot better. Pressure rate allowed 24th, so they have allowed a pretty high pressure rate, but pass block win rate is all the way up there at 6th. Coverage stats, let's see real quick. The Bears, 14th in EPA per pass. We kind of already went over this in that previous thing, and they play 67.2% of zone. So a lot of zone from this Bears defense comparative to, last week against the Lions. They're a very heavy man team. So going to be playing a lot of zone. So obviously, different things go into that in terms of scheming and your game plan. All right, let's get into the lineups. Let's dive down into this thing. Let's start with the Bears defense, the Packers offense. We'll quickly just run through the Packers offense. Obviously we do this every week, so it kind of gets a little redundant, but you can start to see the grades. Anthony Belton at 41.1 is crazy because I really liked what I've seen from him the past 2 weeks. Would I say he's supposed to have like an 80? No. Would I say he should have like a high 60, maybe even a low 70? Yeah. Not a 41.1. That's crazy. Run block grade of 82nd out of 83. That's just not true. I'm sorry, but it's not. Right? Like Anthony Belton, sure, is a rookie and has his inconsistencies and mistakes, and he's not perfect, but he's not the 82nd best run blocking guard out of 83 total. There is absolutely no way. When you watch the game, the Packers' run offense up the middle with Ryan, him, and Banks looks heaps and mounds better than it did with Morgan and Elton in center. It just does. It just does. Right? So I don't really know about that. Sean Ryan also, I think he's plugged into center phenomenally and has looked better than Elton Jenkins did all year at center. Aaron Banks at left guard has been a lot better as of late, probably because he's healthy, right? He was hurt most of the year, and that showed. Now he's healthy, and he's starting to play like we paid him, right? Hasn't gotten there yet, but he's starting to. Walker and Tom on the outsides, they've both been really playing at a high level, especially Zach Tom, shutting down Aiden Hutchinson last week, or both weeks for that matter, week 1 and week 13. Very, very impressive. Luke Musgrave got the start last week, got the most snaps out of all tight ends, and actually made a damn good play on that corner route. I mean, a really nice catch on the sideline there. That game feels like forever ago. I mean, it really does. That game feels like a long time ago. At receivers, Dobbs, Watson, Wicks. We'll see if Reed comes back. I think he will. I think we're going to see Jaden Reed come back. But at the same time, Wicks deserves his targets, deserves his snaps. So does Dobbs. Maybe not as of late. Dobbs is kind of on the down with some drops, lack of targets. It's mainly started to get to Watson. Wicks last week. Reed coming back. Golden could be back. Watson, he's been our best receiver. All things considered. I know he joined only like a month ago. He's been our best receiver all year. Honestly, in terms of like boom plays and consistency. Also PFF, you could see here 84.6. He's the 8th highest ranked receiver out of 127. He's been our best receiver. Love, 2nd highest graded quarterback in the NFL. I would assume May is number 1 or Dak. I kind of want to look. I think it's going to be Dak or May. Let's go by position. Let's do quarterback. It's Stafford. That's the one I actually forgot about. Stafford is, in the lead for MVP between, honestly, all 4 of these players. I think Love, not many people are talking about him, but I think May is definitely up in the running. But right now, it's easily Matt Stafford. I mean, 32 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 2 of which came last week. So Love's 2nd highest graded PFF quarterback at 87.3. Bears defense, let's dive into it. At safeties, they have Jaquan Brisker and Kevin Byard, and Byard having that career resurgence. Didn't think he was going to have this, when he went to Chicago after, not really playing well in Philly. Went to Chicago. I'm like, whatever, just a vet signing there. I think he's leading the team in interceptions. He might be leading the league in interceptions. I think he has a ton. I don't know the exact stat number, but Kevin Byard's having a hell of a season, 79.9. Brisker on the other side, 61.6. On the outsides, they have Jalen Johnson. He's potentially returning, right? Has he played yet? He's potentially returning. Jalen Johnson, groin, full participation. Yeah, so has he played yet? Has he returned from that yet? Or would this be the first week he's returning? I honestly forgot. And then Nashawn Wright, a guy on the outside that, no one really knew about going into the year. And then all of a sudden, you see in games, I think it was like the first Lions game or second Lions game or something like that. He had a pick 6 and, this guy just came out of nowhere. And I remember watching I think maybe he was on it too, but his brother Rajon was on Last Chance U. I don't know if Nashawn was on that season on the team. He might have been. But I remember the name because it popped up on the Bears. I'm like, wait, is that the Last Chance U guy? I'm like, that's crazy. So he's been playing some good ball for them. It's crazy. He's 6'4", 185 pounds. It's a lanky cornerback there. On the defensive line, here's the thing. They haven't gotten enough pressure. The Packers are very good when they have a clean pocket. Jordan Love is very good. The Bears have lacked in getting pressure. And I might actually have... Do I have one? I only have run defense. I could look. Sam Hoppin, first off, check him out. I think he's a Packers fan as well. He posts all these advanced metrics. Awesome Twitter page to follow. And I can probably find the pressures real quick. Quarterback, coverage, run defense, pass rush. Here we go. So the Bears have really struggled to get any type of pressure this year. Pressure rate, they're 31st. This is the last 4 games. I could go for the full season, but this is the last 4 games because, hey, it's a what are you doing for me now league, right? The Bears are 31st in pressure rate. Pressure to sack rate, 16th. Sack rate, 24th. But they blitz the 3rd most in the NFL. And non-blitz pressure rate, they're 29th. they're not getting a lot of pressure, but they're blitzing a lot. So if the Packers can block that up well and give Jordan Love the time that he needs, I think he's going to tear this defense up. I really, really do. Because, Booker on one side, I loved him coming out of Kansas. I really wanted the Packers to draft him, and I thought he was a steal in the 5th round. I think he's been playing pretty solid ball for them. Javon Dexter on the inside, Andrew Billings next to him, Montez Sweat. At the backer positions, we have TJ Edwards, who 75.1. We have Noah Sewell, who is a very poorly graded linebacker, actually the worst in coverage of 29.2. Good Lord. He's just a, paperweight standing out there in coverage. That's crazy. And DeMarco Jackson. Let's move it into nickel real quick. You see CJ, GJ. Oh, he's a tongue twister there. On the Bears now. They're playing him at nickel, I guess. 53.5 grade. He can make plays here or there, but he's not a consistent player in my opinion. So let's flip it on over. So that's the Bears defense. That's the Packers offense. Let's flip it on over to the Packers defense, the Bears offense. Quickly, let's go over my sleeper picks. Here are my sleeper picks for the upcoming game. First, we have Patrick Mahomes, free pick, more than a half a passing yard. You can, every time you make your picks every week, the primetime games typically have those free picks there. I have Josh Jacobs, anytime touchdown. The Packers are going to want to run the football. The Bears aren't that great at stopping the football, or stopping the running game. And Jordan Love, more than 212.5 passing yards. Again, the Bears struggle to get pressure. Jordan Love really good against clean pocket, really good with a clean pocket. I think the Packers are going to be able to air it out. And then I have DeAndre Swift, more than 11.5 rushing attempts. Bears, their identity, run. I think both Swift and Monangai could see 12 plus carries each. Like that's not a far stretch to see. And I really like this pick as well. So if you want to check out Sleeper, the link's down in the description. You can make your picks. Use code BASS when making a first-time deposit. That will get matched 100% up to $100. So definitely go check them out. I use Sleeper for fantasy football. It's the best up-and-coming, sports app in general. Very clean UI, easy to use. I have a dynasty in there. I'm actually first in my dynasty right now. So I was in last year. I went from worst to first. Awesome fantasy football leagues you run on there, and also make your picks. So definitely go check them out. Link down in the description. Huge shout out to Sleeper. All right. So let's flip on this. Yeah, they're 28th. Steve says, they're 28th rushing defense. Here's a couple more stats I've written down. They're 28th in terms of yards per game, but in terms of rush success rate, meaning their defense stops a running play, they're 27th. Stuff run percentage, they're 26th. Yards before contact, they're 32nd. Run stop win rate, they're 26th. So the Packers are going to be able to run the football. They are. And they're going to want to run the football. We know Matt LaFleur. But I want multiple. I don't just want, hey, we need to be a run-first team and we're going to run on first down every time. And if it's third and short or second and short, we're going to run the football every time. No. I also want Matt LaFleur to do kind of what he did last week and say, hey, Jordan Love is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. When it matters, he's going to make a play. We're going to put the ball in his hands. But also run the ball because he can. And you're going to be able to. And you're going to be able to find success against this Bears defense. All right, let's flip this thing. Packers defense, Bears offense. And start the Packers defense. It's right here. At safeties, the Packers have one of the best, if not the best, safety duos in the NFL because not only is Xavier McKinney is just so good, but Evan Williams is having a crazy season. And not many people are talking about it. I think, a lot of these defensive backs having great seasons like Bullard and Williams, and not enough people are talking about. Evan Williams has been playing as one of the best safeties in the NFL as of late, here in year 2 for him. He's been playing such a high level. McKinney on the other side, maybe not what he had last year, leading the league in interceptions, I believe the entire year, or he might have just led the league, at the beginning. But he's still playing some sound football. At linebacker, Quay Walker should be back. If you look at the injury report, this is the first time he had a look at this CVS receipt. It's crazy. Quay Walker. I definitely just skipped right on over him. There we go. First time he had a full participation. So Quay Walker should be returning. But Isaiah McDuffie, I talked about this in a video. I don't know. I kind of like Isaiah at the mic. And then maybe put Quay at strong side. Then you can put him on the line of scrimmage. You can move him around a bunch. You don't have to have him just in the middle of the field, kind of commanding the defense. Make it easier on him, right? With the mic, you got the green dot, you got the microphone, you got to command the defense, you got to set the defense, you got to coordinate with everyone. McDuffie's been doing a great job at that and playing well at it. Where Quay, it's like Just let him go out there and make plays. I think strong side might be fitting for Quay. I really, really do. Of course, this is if we're in base. You know, we move to nickel, then you probably want Quay and Cooper out there because obviously McDuffie does struggle from time to time in coverage, but all through his grades have been impressive. 80.0 defensive grade, 8th out of 84 linebackers. Run defense has been good. Coverage grade has actually been good as well. I've seen him struggle there, but it hasn't been anything too terrible. So if we look at the defensive line, this is a crazy line. Like what is PFF doing here? First off, what the hell is this? They have Sorrell in it at defensive tackle with Parsons, okay, and they have Inigbara and Gary. Maybe if I move it out of nickel, this will look better. There we go. That's what we needed to see there. That's what we needed to see. We have Micah Parsons at edge, 91.9. Rashawn Gary on the other side needs to play better, plain and simple, 68.2. Colby Wooden at nose tackle, 60.5. And Warren Brinson, next man up, man. Devontae Wyatt is gone. Who's going to step up? Warren Brinson, Carl Brooks, you're looking at those two guys. Those are the two guys that are going to fill that. Really all we have left for the 3-tech. And at least until maybe Van Ness gets back and play a little 3-tech. But it's Brinson or Brooks. And I love Brooks, but I think Brinson can be that guy. I really do. I think Brinson offers us more all around. Like where Brooks is purely a pass rusher and really struggles in the run game. I think Brinson can do both. I think Brinson, shows a lot of, push up front. You've seen some tape of that. I like him. I like him a lot, especially for a 6th-round pick. At corners, we have Valentine and Nixon. Valentine was top 10 in PFF grade until the last 2 games. And then he graded very poorly the last 2 games, but he still hasn't allowed a ton of receptions for yards. Nixon on the other side, been playing all right. Like, I haven't been too angry at him other than every time, other than random 3rd down penalties that extend drives. That's when I get mad. But last week's was bull crap. Like, there's no way that should have been a penalty on Nixon from Tom Kennedy just running straight into him. But I digress. Nixon, 65.8. I'm not too mad at it. Packers could definitely still upgrade at cornerback number 1, but all things considered, I think this defense have been playing at a really high level considering. Run defense 78.4, coverage 64.1. You look at Valentine, run defense pretty poor. That makes sense. Kind of has been having a little bit of a tackle issue this year. So that's the Packers defense. Let's take a look at the Bears offense. Caleb Williams, already kind of talked about it, 72.7. DeAndre Swift, 74.7. Looking at the offensive line, I mean, you could see all across the board how good this offensive line has been for them. And they made the right moves, bringing in Jonah Jackson in at right guard, Joe Tooney in at left guard, signing Drew Dahlman in free agency. Drew Dahlman was a player that, in free agency, I was like, hey, the Packers should go after him. I know they went after Banks. I think the right move would have been keeping Elton at left guard and signing Drew Dahlman. You would have spent less money. You would have had the better player at the true position you needed, center. You didn't need a left guard, yet you signed Aaron Banks anyways. And even if Elton Jenkins doesn't play well or still injures himself, you got Anthony Belton, right? You'd still keep Sean Ryan at right guard, and that is what it is. But I think that would have been the better move. Now that we're 14 weeks into the season from the last free agency. But you can see that. Drew Dahlman, the 2nd highest graded center in the NFL, 82.1. Jackson, 74.0. Tooney, 74.0. Ozzie Trapillo, I didn't know he's starting at left tackle for them. That is interesting. I liked him coming out of Boston College this past draft. Really liked him. I didn't know he's starting at left tackle for them. And then Darnell Wright at right tackle, 78.5. Colson Loveland at tight end, 75.6. The receivers, Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, and Luther Burden. Again, they don't pass the ball too much. So I'm not too scared of DJ Moore like I once was. DJ Moore used to be a guy, it's like he's guaranteed to drop 80 on you like every game. Now you look at his sleeper lines are at like 30 yards. I'm like, what is going on? Joe Trapillo is a rookie with 2 starts. Yeah. So maybe that's where you get him. What's his name? He's hurt, isn't he? Where's their tackle? What's their starting left tackle's name? I'm having a brain fart here. Is it Braxton something, right? I'm drawing a complete brain fart here. I can actually look. Is it Braxton Jones? Is that who I'm thinking of? Or am I completely off base there? Let's see. Braxton Jones, yeah. Okay, it is Braxton Jones. So he's hurt, I guess. Okay, interesting. He's played 210 snaps at left tackle. Very poor grades. Allowed 2 sacks and 15 pressures. So I guess he's hurt. He's not on the injury report, so he's on IR. I guess that would be the next question there. But Ozzie Trapio, nonetheless, starting at left tackle. How much has he played? Someone said 2 starts. Why am I in at quarterback? What are we doing there? There we go. Ozzie Trapio has played 153 snaps at left tackle. Pretty good grades. He's allowed 0 sacks and 7 pressures. Okay, fair enough. He's also played some right guard or some right tackle for them as well, and some 6 offensive linemen. So yeah, the receivers, Burden, Moore, Odunze. Again, I'm not too scared. They don't pass the ball too much. Mainly, it's got to worry about stopping this run game. You know, if we can stop this run game like we did with the Lions, kind of kept it in check, I'm very confident in this Green Bay Packers football team. I think they're going to find success on the ground and in the air. I really do. This Bears defense very dependent on turnovers, and that's something that the Packers have done really well. You know, the turnover differential, not turning over the football. Sure, they haven't created a ton on defense, but they're doing a really good job at protecting the football, and that's what the Bears defense lives by. It really has. It's going to be an interesting one, guys. This is huge. There hasn't been the Packers-Bears game with this much hype in a very long time. Maybe since, 2018 was their last real winning season? Maybe since then. So, really, it's just been the Packers owning it. But this is a solid Bears team, and not to be taken lightly, and a team that the Packers, they're going to have to have a really good game. They're going to have a really good game to beat this Chicago Bears team, but I'm confident that they will. Then take the lead in the NFC North and not look back. And just run with it. End up taking back the NFC North. I think the Bears get into the playoffs. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions miss out, especially now losing Brian Branch. That's tough for them. But yeah, very confident in this team. It's a game preview. So again, I do this every Friday, 12:30 Eastern. If this was something you did enjoy, I'd really appreciate if you went down and clicked the subscribe button. Hit a like on the way out. Help support the channel a ton. The final injury report will be released in about 3 hours. So be on the lookout for the video here on this channel. It'll go through all the injury designations. Probably tell us if Jaden Reed is playing in this game or not. And all the other designations as well. And then I will be live for this game on Sunday. It's at 4:25 Eastern. So I'll probably be live at 4:10 Eastern. So come on by if you want to join for the watch party. Listening to my annoying voice commentating the game. If that's something that interests you, I will be here Sunday. So really appreciate you guys stopping by again. Thank you so much for being patient with the little bit of technical difficulties that I had at the beginning and during the stream. But yeah, guys, appreciate you. I'll catch you on the next one. And as always, go Pack Go.